Hello, welcome back. We're going to take a look at conflict today and why everyone here in this world appears to be in it. And we're going to look also at healing and exceptions with the invitation to make no exceptions at all, period, end of discussion, wherever they may appear to be. Just that. So we're continuing on in chapter 7 of the text, section 5, healing and the changelessness of mind. Let's emphasize this word changelessness, which of course implies that there are no exceptions. Changeless. It's not here 1 minute, gone the next, like all of our little toys here in the world. Like this one, here 1 minute, gone the next. No exceptions. There are no exceptions in truth, and we experience what we call conflict because we try to make them. So let's put this in the context of healing. Here in the world, we think that there's conflict everywhere. And when we look out at the world, there appears to be conflict every single place we look, and it's in our mind. There's also conflict in our mind, which we would readily agree with. We'd readily agree with the apparent reality, this situation that we find ourselves in here in the world where our minds are conflicted. And we can see this in our own mind all of the time. 1 minute we feel great, the next minute we feel crappy. Why? Well, I don't know. We invent various reasons why. And everything seems to be outside of us here. We're attempting to manipulate and control what appear to be external phenomena without realizing that it's all in our mind. It's all in our mind. There is no separation of any kind. This means that there's nothing outside of you. Nothing has separated itself in space or in time. No separation. Where we appear to see this, we're in conflict. We appear to be in conflict with our brother who may be attacking us. Wars go on. There are wars going on all of the time. There are armed conflicts, there are skirmishes, and in human history, we've had multiple genocides, invasions, all kinds of mean and nasty things have gone on in human history. They're still going on right now. Why? We see ourselves as separate. One country sees itself as separate from another with an artificial boundary that someone made up. A group of people made up and drew a line on a map and made it up. And so now, modernly, people invade another line full of countries made up on a map. Others defend themselves against the aggression of a larger country. Everybody knows what I'm talking about right now. But the current situation is not unique at all. In a world where there appears to be conflict, we're all the aggressor. When we see ourselves as separate, we're inherently fearful that our brother's going to get us. We judge him. We see him as either inferior to us or superior, and we want what he's got. We have FOMO all the time. And it's in this world of conflict, apparent conflict, that we have an inconsistency of mind. One minute we feel great, then the next minute we feel terrible because we didn't get our way. Or something happened to disturb our conception of what reality should be. So we're trying to make it what it's not. We're trying to make it what it's not. We're trying to be something we're not. You know what and who and where you are. If you didn't, and let's say it again, you wouldn't be paying attention to this video at all. You wouldn't be on the spiritual path. You wouldn't be interested in this thing called A Course in Miracles. People take a look. People that are interested in spirituality are often very curious about this self-study curriculum. I mean, look at the title, A Course in Miracles. Who doesn't need some miracles in life? Right? And then, as a practical matter, come to find out, it's all about setting aside the ego. Yeah, which means looking at all of our conflict, our stuff. Use another word for stuff if you want to. Starts with an S. That, looking at it and releasing it, which can't happen unless we look at it. That's why I'm very fond of saying that spirituality is an adult endeavor. Oh, yeah, it's for grown-ups. You're a grown-up. You're a grown-up. Non-grown-ups have absolutely no interest in this at all, or their interest is very fleeting and they drop their interest when they discover that it actually involves work. Practical application, because nobody's going to swoop in and save you. That's not how it works. The reason that Jesus, the Holy Spirit, don't swoop in and wipe the slate clean for us, just like snapping their fingers, is that that would be doing us a tremendous disservice. It would be coming in, swooping in, and rescuing us and making us feel even less powerful, even more disempowered than we already feel by denigrating the power of our own mind, which we're here to realize. So that's why it involves work, practical application. And as we know, and I know you know this, spirituality is all about experience. It's about practical application, and one can learn as much as one wants intellectually. I mean, really, you can pore over every intellectual treatise that's ever been written on spirituality, and it still won't wake you up, because that's not where the action is. Is it important to understand these ideas? Yes, it is. Is it everything? Absolutely not. In fact, you could begin to have the experience of waking up without understanding these ideas at all. You could very well say, yeah, this non-duality stuff doesn't make a shred of sense to me, but I'm just going to apply the ideas anyway, and they would begin to make perfect sense to you. How? Your own experience proves their truth to you. That's how we do this. We prove it to ourselves. I will not prove anything to you. You prove it to yourself through practical application. That's how this works. So when we're talking about making no exceptions, healing is either total or it's not at all. It's said here in the Course in many places, forgiveness is either total or it's not at all. We cannot hold out any exceptions. In other words, we can't forgive one person and continue to condemn another. That's not forgiving. Why? Because there's only one of us. So you cannot, in truth, forgive somebody and keep blaming someone else for all of the drama that goes on in the world. You can't reserve your special forms of disdain and hatred for the opposition political party, for example, while blessing and loving on somebody else. That's an exception. It's a split. It's a separation. Therefore, it does not exist. The separation never took place. So either you're deluded and still blaming and judging, or you're forgiving and setting aside all blame, delusion, and judgment, and forgiving is the way we wake up, which we're all invited to do. There are no exceptions because love is incapable of any exceptions. God is incapable of any exceptions. He didn't make this world, by the way, where he appears to look down like Zeus and the gods' council on Olympus, manipulating human affairs and going down and sleeping with some people and killing others and extending favor to one who gave a nice, beautiful, bloody sacrifice to you and lots of offerings and separation after separation. No, no. God is love, perfect oneness, which is totally abstract, by the way. Love is completely and totally abstract. It makes no exceptions. It makes no exceptions. Love is love. God is. It makes no exceptions. So if we wish to be healed, we cannot make any exceptions either. We forgive totally or not at all. Fear always makes exceptions. Healing never does. It never makes exceptions. There aren't any. So why are we continuing to insist that there are? Why are we continuing to insist that we're separate, that our brother is this little scoundrel or he's dumb because he doesn't know this and that and because he has a certain occupation? And this person over here, she's ridiculous. Right? We make these judgments all of the time. Why? Why? How often do you actually stop to ask these deeper questions? One of the reasons why it's so beautiful and beneficial that you're here paying attention to this video and on the path is because you're giving yourself some time out of all the rigmarole and the stress-filled drama of life to contemplate what it's really all about. You're answering the call. So thank you for answering the call. In so doing, you're answering the call by even contemplating these ideas, which we don't stop to do in the stream of daily life because we've got work and responsibilities and all of that. I mean, even if you don't have a job or you're not working, you still fill your time with stuff. Yeah, we all do. And it's so valuable to take some time to think about these things. So Why do we continue to insist on separation? When you think about it, it's evident that we do it because we're in the habit of doing it. We're habituated to it. We're attenuated to it. We're conditioned to see ourselves as separate. So, spiritual practice, learning this course, is about undoing the separation. Where in our mind there is no separation of any kind, and there are no exceptions. Only God is. Only means all else is illusion. Anything that changes at all is illusion. It's not real. Anything that shifts is not who you are. Anything that morphs or transforms is not who you are. Here in the world, we appear to be having one transformation after another. It's an appearance. Who you really are, who you're waking up to, is beyond all change and transformation and beyond all concept. And the beauty of this is that we're there right now. We're simply waking up to this. We're removing the barriers to our awareness of truth. That's what spiritual practice is in this course and every other tradition. That is, at its core, what all of this is about, is removing the barriers to our awareness of truth. In fact, the definition of heaven in A Course in Miracles is the awareness of perfect oneness. Because only God is, we can't separate ourselves from God. It's impossible and it never occurred. It's impossible. You can't separate yourself from God, even if you wanted to. And because we see ourselves as separate here in the world, apparently, at one point, we seem to have formulated that wish. But it's not possible. There is only perfect oneness. Each and every one of us is part of that. That's why it's so important that the idea for this lesson rises to prominence in your mind and you reinforce it constantly. Make no exceptions. Make no exceptions. When you catch yourself judging and blaming, forgive the person or the political party or the nation state or the circumstance that you're blaming. Forgive them. There is no separation. And we all have opportunities where we catch ourselves in the act. That is an opportunity for forgiveness. We cannot separate. There is no separation possible, so we, in our own little ego mind, can't separate. If you wish to awaken, you would practice these ideas. We can't save special forms of hatred for somebody while loving someone else. It's inconsistent, it's in conflict, and we're invited to set that aside. And the beauty of all of this is a choice that we all get to make in the present moment, to set all of this conflict and BS and drama aside. Just set it aside. All right. So thank you, as always, for joining me here, and welcome to all of you who have recently subscribed. It's a pleasure to have you here. If you haven't joined us yet, you're more than welcome to do so. The subscription button is right here. That's the red arrow in the corner of your screen. And these videos come to you several times a week for the sake of consistency. We need it as adult learners. And along those lines, if you have any comments or questions, please feel welcome to leave them here. We've had a number of really, really excellent discussions here, right here on YouTube, and I'm here to be a guide and a resource for you. So if you've got questions, please feel welcome to leave them here, and I will talk to you all very soon. Thanks for joining me.